I think you better go out. I'm going to pass it briefly. You need to go out and check your client.
Oh, no, Judge.
No, go out and check your client.
I will, Judge.
Patrick Tatura versus Martin Youngs.
Do you need to see?
No, he won't be staying long.
I hope that's the case, Judge.
Me too.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Eric Wadowski, 65354 on behalf of plaintiffs.
Good morning, Darwin Fair, defendant P number 31266.
The plaintiff filed a motion to lift the stay and enter an order of eviction. At the time, I had not received a response, but I thought I wasn't sure where other proceedings were. I realized what was represented in the motion. And so I set this for hearing on it. So.
Well, Judge, I hope we would not be here today. We've been down this road a number of times. And your question is always the same question, and the answer is always the same answer, which is the Wayne County Circuit Court has not closed the file. There's still pending actions in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court that impact on the issue that's before this court. So unless we're here to argue the Wayne County Circuit Court motion, I don't know what more to say to the judge. There's really nothing more to say.
This property is located in Washtenaw County, however.
Where's it?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Yes.
the property is in Washtenaw, so I'm not clear why I'm worried about anything being litigated in Wayne County.
Well, what happened?
Let me rephrase that. I don't know why I would be worried about that with reference to this active proceeding forth in the eviction happening.
Well, the reason, Judge, is for the same reasons that occurred multiple times before this court, which is the property in Washtenaw County is subject to a settlement agreement that was entered into with the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So this is part and parcel of this global settlement. And the reality of it is that this case on this property is still subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, as has been the case every time we get before this court. As every time we get before this court, it's the same issue, Judge. And now this is, I will admit, this is the first time I've heard the court say this, but the reality is still the reality. This property is part of, and Judge, I know you do not want me to repeat myself, and I don't like to repeat myself, but I'm a little concerned that if this is not being gotten across, is every time we get to come to court, it's because of the same issues of this global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge.
Oh, no. Before I would, right. I mean, the reason the case is here is for whatever its reasons. But part of the reason that things were stayed is because clearly it was headed up the chain, the appellate chain. My understanding is that's no longer the case.
No. And let me
know that.
No, that's not the case. And so let me explain it this way, Judge, because I'm trying to get into your head. What the court, I think, is concerned about is the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case that directly impact this case. And that case, the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals.
Right.
Okay, that case was dismissed, Judge, as a result of a global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So what happens in this case is still being handled by the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, because the Washtenaw County case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals, was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the settlement.
Let me cut to the chase. Why wouldn't I just lift my stay, issue the order of eviction, allow it to be executed at some future time, that they couldn't do it right away? Allow it to be executed at some future time. And if you're correct, then get a stay from Wayne County.
Okay, well, Judge, okay, now, and I'm hearing you, and I'll walk down that road with you. So the issue of the quote unquote eviction is a function of the ownership of the subject property. The ownership of the subject property is specifically before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So let's assume that the court says, okay, I mean, enough's enough, although it's the same issue that has been before this court multiple times, and the court says the same thing multiple times, which is, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court has made a decision, which is what, okay.
I don't know that I said anything about Wayne County.
No,
I think I said something about Washtenaw County and the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
no.
Go ahead.
No. It's never about the Washtenaw County. It's always about Wayne County. It's always about Wayne County. It's never about Washtenaw County, because Washtenaw County, Judge, again, was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals. It was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the global settlement that was before Wayne County Circuit Court Judge.
And Mr. Fair, I'm saying, let's assume for the sake of argument that you're correct. I have a feeling there's going to be disagreement as to what you're saying in part. But why then wouldn't I just grant the relief, issue the order, and then you get a stay of that and allow an opportunity, so I wouldn't have it where it could be executed immediately, give you an opportunity to then get before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which you're saying this property is part of some global settlement, and allow that court to basically stay any order of eviction or enjoin the plaintiffs in this case from moving forward.
Okay, Judge, allow me to walk down that road. Okay, so
why is that a hard question? I don't need to be walked down the road. Why is that a difficult question to answer?
Because the hearing, no. Because the hearing that you're making reference to, that I should go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge and ask for a stay, is a hearing that is essentially scheduled for July the 18th. That hearing will address the very point this court is making. So
then why don't I grant the relief, indicate that the writ cannot be executed until, if your hearing's on the 28th of July,
no, 18th. I'm sorry.
That it can't be executed until the 28th of July, giving the 10-day statutory period from the time of that hearing.
Okay, Judge, this is the road we always walk down, because what happens is on the 18th, we don't know what Judge Ewell will do. Judge Ewell may say, I'm not going to hear it on the 18th. Or, and Judge, I'm only going by what happened in the past, in the same.
Sorry, raising questions.
You're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave.
I do not want to argue, Judge.
Go ahead.
Case. So what has happened in the past, which is probably what's going to happen today, is that on the 18th, Judge Ewell will do one of two things, which has happened in the past. When this issue is before this court, Judge Ewell may or may not hear the case on the 18th, or may hear the case on the 18th and then decide not to make a decision until sometime in the future. Now, again, Judge, I'm not saying this for the first time. This has been the history of this case. Now, if we look at what happened here, they filed a motion to go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. and it was scheduled for the following Friday. At the same time, they filed this motion in front of you and filed a motion in front of the 35th District Court, assuming that the Wayne County Circuit Court judge would close the file. Because I will tell you, Judge, the question that you always ask, this is the question you always ask: what's the status of the Wayne County Circuit Court case? Is it open or is it closed? The answer is always the same. It's open. Your response is always the same. Well, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court makes a decision. And then a couple of times, Judge, you said, I'm going to adjourn it to right after when the circuit court judge makes a decision.
So why don't I put an end to that and just grant their relief?
Well, because, Judge.
Because it doesn't leave you, Mr. Fair, without remedy. Because you can always ask the Wayne County Circuit Court, as I've said, to either stay that writ if they've taken some jurisdiction over this property, or to enjoin the defendants from proceeding on the writ that I would issue.
Well, Judge, this is a conversation we've had at nauseam all the time. And
well, I'm trying to end it.
And what I think but I think, Judge, what you recognize is, well, that means I've got to run to the Wayne County Circuit, the Wayne County Circuit Court, ask for a stay. The judge is going to say, aren't we going to be hearing this on the 18th? And then on the 18th, like what has happened in the past.
Well, hold on a second. No, you wouldn't have to do that if you would listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I could grant the plaintiff's relief. They could not do anything. And I'm not even saying on the 18th. I'm saying for a 10-day period after that hearing. So if the judge at that point in Wayne County doesn't do anything, the 10-day statutory period would begin to run on the writ.
Wait a minute, wait, Judge. Okay, so the motion that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which plaintiff acknowledges affects what this court can do. What they're asking the Wayne County Circuit Court is close the case, close it. Mm-hmm. And then if it's closed, then they can come to you and say, hey, Judge, it's closed. So let's go back to that point. On the 18th, if the judge does not close it, if the judge does what he has done in the past.
If the judge does not close it, you could request of the judge to enjoin the plaintiffs from proceeding forward. If the judge does close it, the writ would proceed.
Well,
that seems really simple to me.
The 10 days after that.
Right, 10 days after.
But that means a couple things. Number one, if I'm hearing the court is saying, well, if it gets adjourned to August the 10th, August the 18th, another month. And if at that time, the judge closes it, that means in this interim period between July the 18th and August the 18th, by definition, they can't do anything.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're saying the Wayne County Circuit Court has that this is part of some global resolution.
Correct.
Okay, I'll take you at your word for that. I've not seen the resolution. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I am saying is, I will assume you to be correct. I will assume also that Judge Ewell will act with his authority regarding any agreement there is. Right?
Correct.
So if I grant the plaintiff's relief, built into that are enough protections for the defendant in terms of being able to request of Judge Ewell to enjoin the plaintiffs from acting. If that case is going to be adjourned out or he doesn't rule on that day.
Well, no. Well, okay, Judge, And I'm not gonna belabor the point. I'm gonna put the past in the past because we've always in this situation and your position is real simple. Is it open or closed? If it's closed, if it's
No,
open.
no. The question is it pending or not?
Okay.
So if the
still pending.
issue, no, Mr.
Yeah.
Freeman, if the issue before this court is pending somewhere elsewhere,
Correct.
that is always what I will address.
Correct.
And I think properly so. It doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. It sounds to me, based upon what you're saying, and again, I haven't seen it, that there is some resolution of this global resolution, whatever it is. I'm saying, fine. There are still issues to be decided with that. They don't need to be decided here. And so that I could grant the relief that the plaintiff requests with enough safeguards that protect the defendant until whatever that issue to be resolved is.
Well, if the court is saying that the plaintiff in this case cannot act upon any decisions of this court pending.
That is not what I am saying. That is not what I'm saying, and you know that's not what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Judge, my client wants to ask a question. You can say yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, we did everything. It seems like we get penalized every time, not in your court so much, but we do everything. We had a global settlement. 3 pieces of property, 1 in Washtenaw, 2 in Wayne County. We all signed, the lawyers all signed what had to be done to get that done. We do everything in the agreement. My family, everything in agreement. They refused to sign a paper and we're here. And we're getting penalized by getting an eviction. No matter how you rule it, it's against us. Whether we settle something on the 18th or not. We're not supposed to even be here. This is a pending case in Wayne County Court that we all agreed to settle. That guy has the ruling. I don't know what we're even here for.
You, like your attorney, are not listening to me.
You're
I
saying you're
take
gonna
you
rule
at, if
and
you
give
want
up
to
your right.
interrupt me, then you go right ahead.
No, I'm sorry. It's just, I've done everything for 7 years. I've worked up in this and I've got, his client has jerked me around for 7 years. Well, and I haven't been able to live in a house I built. And then I'm gonna get an eviction notice that I know doesn't mean anything to you guys, but to my family, it means everything.
Sir, maybe you and your attorney should listen to what the court is proposing to do. Because both of you have been saying the same thing, that there is this agreement out there that is subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm not going to even begin to get involved in that.
Right. If you're, can I say one thing? I'm sorry, I'll leave.
No.
He doesn't get it.
Judge didn't say.
He's always been good, but
Judge didn't say
I gotta get out of here before I have a breakdown, man.
Yeah, Judge didn't say you couldn't say it, so why don't you say it?
All I am saying is there is this agreement. I've not read this agreement. I don't know what this agreement is per se in terms of how the court is ruling. Not even in a lot of ways have detailed specifics about what needs to be decided. Maybe the issues, sir, that you're raising need to be decided. What I'm saying is, as to this property, if indeed that's going to be decided in Wayne County as part of this agreement, I'm going to issue the order. I would issue the order of eviction, subject to the date that your next hearing is, and giving enough time so that your interest in regard to that settlement can be protected by Mr. Fair. That's all I am saying. I'm not ruling that there's going to be an eviction. I'm not ruling any of that.
Then why rule at all?
Because it's my job.
Okay.
Sit down.
Sorry.
Judge, can we rest at this point, and then I have a rebuttal after you speak to brother counsel? You know, and-
He needs to get out.
well,
I think you better go out. I'm gonna pass it briefly. You
Well-
need to go out and check your
oh,
client.
no, Judge. he's
No,
fine.
go out and check your client.
I will, Judge, but he's fine.
Court recalls the case of the Totoro versus,
Good morning again, Your Honor. Eric Ladat, on behalf of the plaintiff.
Good morning, Your Honor, and Your Honor, Darwin Fair on behalf of, and Your Honor, if I may, if I could just make one last statement, give Brother Counsel an opportunity to talk. If I can give just a little.
go ahead.
So, all right, Judge. Plaintiff counsel knows the posture. It's based upon what's happened in the past. So they filed a motion to close the case because that is the question, Judge, you always ask, and you wouldn't rule because of the circuit court. So they filed a motion in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court asking that the case be closed. And that was up for hearing a Friday ago. Well, we've been down this road before about a notice of hearing and a precipice. So the precipice wasn't accepted. But at the same time they filed the motion, Judge, they thought or presupposed on that day the judge would rule in their favor. And so at the same time, they filed motions for eviction in this court and also 35th District Court. Well, we both were alerted that the Wayne County Circuit Court was not going to hear the Wayne County Circuit Court case when they had noticed it for hearing. And I was notified by plaintiff counsel that, well, I'll let you know when the precipice is accepted, which means the hearings before this court had to be pushed off until after the Wayne County Circuit Court made a decision. So that is where the breakdown occurred, because then the Wayne County Circuit Court accepted the precipice for the 18th. And so initially the thinking was, well, let's just adjourn this case until after the 18th. I reminded Brother Counsel, we've been down this road a million times. What happens is whatever date that the Wayne County Circuit Court comes up with, oftentimes either doesn't occur, or if it does occur, the proverbial can gets kicked down the road. Then there was a breakdown, because at that point, Brother Counsel says, well, let's just go with the hearing, even though this hearing was initially scheduled because it presupposed the Wayne County Circuit Court would make a decision before we got before this court. And so that's why my initial argument for the court was, I don't know why we're here. So, Judge, I would like to defer any further argument unless the court has questions. So after Brother
I have
Counsel.
no questions. Counsel?
I have no objections, Your Honor, to the court entering the order of eviction, but not allowing its perfection until after July 28th.
Court having heard argument on this case, the plaintiff's motion to lift the stay to the extent that there was one and enter an order of eviction is granted. A writ of or an order of eviction may issue, but here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to issue it with a firm date of August 1st, 2025 or thereafter. The 56-day rule on the issuance of a order of eviction is waived by the court. That, and so that the record is clear, that should give enough time should the defendants wish to seek other relief before the Wayne County Circuit Court. They may do so, and it is a period after the hearing, and actually it would extend the period out originally contemplated by the court. Regarding the 10 days, it extends it out a little bit more than that. So, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Always a pleasure.
Prepare the order.
I need you to prepare.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, can we put this on the record that I need to see the order before it gets signed, because Brother Counsel has a habit of sending orders that I have.
You know what? I'm not going to be between the council. Go out there, get a form order. You guys fill it out, approve it before you leave my building.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, sir.
This entire situation turned into a marathon of legal twists that nobody could have predicted. What looked like a basic eviction case has revealed itself as a long-standing clash filled with multiple courts stepping on each other's territory, settlement promises that still wait in limbo, and procedural delays stretching over years. A small dispute became a giant puzzle where every piece connects to something bigger and more complicated. Inside the courtroom, the defense delivered their argument with deep determination. They explained that the ownership issue is directly linked to a larger settlement, still being handled by Wayne County Circuit Court. Their belief is simple but firm. This judge should pause everything here until that major dispute is settled once and for all. You could feel the weight of their frustration built from years of fighting the same battle on different stages. On the opposite side, the plaintiffs were firm that enough time has already been wasted. They expressed how patience has been tested for far too long. To them, justice must stop crawling and finally step forward. They pushed strongly for the eviction order to be carried out, believing closure cannot be postponed any longer. The judge, trying to stay calm while hearing the same legal arguments again, showed a mix of irritation and responsibility. Even though the repetition clearly drained him, he refused to ignore fairness. His ruling became a strategic blend of progress and caution. He approved the eviction order, yet delayed its enforcement until the next crucial Wayne County hearing takes place. It signals that justice continues to move, while still giving the defense a final opportunity to protect their rights. From a legal lens, this choice makes a lot of sense. It honors judicial boundaries, prevents conflicting decisions, and keeps both parties grounded in accountability. It proves that justice is not only about the final decision, but about making sure every step respects the law and the people involved. Sometimes the path matters as much as the destination. From a human perspective, the emotion is undeniable. The defendant has been trying to hold on for 7 years, believing promises, facing constant delays, and fighting for a place they consider home. Every moment in that courtroom showed how much this battle has taken out of them, yet they still refuse to give up. Legal cases are made of papers, but behind those papers are hearts full of fears, hopes, and stubborn courage. Now everyone is left wondering whether this ruling is a fair middle ground or simply another painful weight in a system already stretched thin. Progress seems real, but the burden has not disappeared. If this legal story captured your focus, you already know that true courtroom drama doesn't need bright lights or television scripts. Real people stand before real judges fighting for their future, and those moments are where the most powerful stories in justice truly live.